Gentlemen, we have been working on finding equations of lines, and I hope by now what you know, to find the equation of any line, you need the slope and a point. Once you have a slope and a point, you can use point-slope form of a line to fill in the information you know, which would be the slope, the x-coordinate of the point, and the y-coordinate of the point. And once you fill that information in, so quick example, y minus 5 equals negative 2 times x plus 1. That would come from a line with a slope of negative 2, and it goes through the point negative 1 comma 5. You could distribute this negative 2, y minus 5 equals negative 2x minus 2, add 5 to both sides, y equals negative 2x plus 3. And that's the slope-intercept form. This is the point-slope form. Excuse me. That's all we're talking about is how do you find how do you find the equation of a line? You need slope and a point. Slope and a point. I can hide that information. Have you seen examples? I've given you 2 points and you find slope and then you use one of the points in the slope you found. Or I can give you the y-intercept and the slope and you can just jump down here. I'm now going to teach you something else about lines that's another way of hiding this information. When we talk about lines, we often talk about lines that are parallel, which means they never intersect, or lines that are perpendicular, which means they intersect at right angles. There's a relationship between the slopes of parallel lines, and there's a relationship, and I think I'm misspelling this, and I'm sorry. I think there's only one R. Parallel lines and perpendicular lines. And you just need to know that parallel lines, if this is line 1 and this is line 2, line 1, the slope of that line is equal to the slope of the second line. Parallel lines have the same slope. So if I tell you a line is parallel to y equals 3x plus 1, then that means the line we're looking for has a slope of 3. Parallel lines have the same slope. The slope is right there. Lines that are perpendicular have an interesting relationship. If this is line 1 and this is line 2, the slope of line 1 times the slope of line 2 equals negative 1. And the way you can think about this is that perpendicular slopes are opposite signs and they are reciprocals. If you're not sure what a reciprocal is, reciprocals are A over B and B over A. Those are reciprocals. When we say opposite reciprocals, we mean if one is positive, the other is negative. If one is negative, the other is positive. So if I told you you were looking for a line perpendicular to this one, the slope we would look for is a negative 1/3. Let's do a couple examples. So the problem or the examples that we're doing start with write the equation of a line, and then they give you information. So this is one of my favorite algebraic questions ever. Write the equation of a line that what? Give you some information, you figure it out. Here's an example. Write the equation of a line through this point and parallel to this line. So remember, we need a slope and we need a point. Well, we have the point. It's negative 5 comma negative 4. Now we need the slope. If the line is parallel to y equals 3/5 x minus 2, All that matters from this line is what is that slope. Ignore everything else. We don't need the x or the -2. We don't even need the y. We just need to know that that's the slope that we want to be parallel to. If we want to be parallel to that slope, then that means our slope is also 3/5. So now, using point slope, y plus 4 equals 3/5 times x plus 5. If I say write the equation of a line, you can stop right there. That is the equation of a line, and it's in point slope form. If I said write the equation of a line through this point and parallel here and put it in slope intercept form, then you would need to keep working. And if I use a different color, the keep working is just distribute the 3/5. 3/5 times 5 is 3. Subtract the 4, and you get y equals 3/5 x minus 1. So if you remember, the original equation up here was y equals 3/5 x, and it was either -2 or +2. I can't remember. But that's because it was a different line than this one. This is not the line we want. We want the line that goes through this point and is parallel. So there we go. Another example of this is write the equation of a line. So it always starts that way. Write the equation of a line that ... goes through -5, -4. I use the same point, but now I'm going to change it to perpendicular to this line. So again, what do you need? You need slope and a point. We have the point. It's given to us in the problem. I want it to be perpendicular. All that matters is looking at the slope. The slope is 3/5. So that means a line that's perpendicular to that would have a slope of -5/3. It's the opposite sign, and it's the reciprocal. So now y plus 4 using point slope form equals -5/3 times x plus 5. If we needed to get to slope intercept form, distribute the -5/3. I like this example because the numbers won't be that nice. 25/3. Subtract 4, subtract 12/3, right? Subtracting 4 is just subtracting 12/3. And you get y equals -5/3 x minus, what is that? 37/3. And you're done. So what we need to take away from this lesson is how do you find equations of lines when you're given different information than what we've been given so far. You have been given, if we make a list, you have been given 2 points. You have been given a point and a slope. A point and a slope. You've been given a y-intercept and a slope. Those are all problems that you've written equations of lines for so far. Now I can tell you parallel to a line and a point. Or I can tell you perpendicular to a line and a point. And all 5 of those is enough information to get one slope and one point. And once you get a slope and a point, you can use point-slope form to write the equation of a line. All right, nice short video for you. Have a good night. Peace.